Well, good evening, free enterprise fans. We're back. The quarterfinals roll on the left side of your screen with one win in this best of three matchup. We have a Stone Dingley, and on the right, with no wins yet in this best of three series, we have DekarSMASH. I am Demarine2, and of course, assisting me in calling this race, the finest commentator for Enterprise has probably ever seen. That's right, it's Rexwall. Hey Rex, what up?
Oh, what a kind introduction. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this race. We've got a couple of interesting objectives here in completing the sealed cave and the vanilla Murasame altar. That does mean that we are going to be requiring a darkness crystal since we do have two objectives that are on the moon. And you need to complete 4 out of 5 of the objectives, so that's great. And what a hero to start with today, huh?
Yeah, I mean, the Fu hero is one of the strongest heroes in the game, unsurprisingly. Obviously gets the big spell suite and can get it pretty early. Agility could be good. You get a cursed ring and you could set him to 5 agility, or you get a crystal ring and a ninja hat and you set him to 28. You've got options. Options abound, certainly. There are stretches in the early mid game that might get a little sketchy if his spell list is kind of bad, but other than that, obviously, Fu makes for some really fast seeds. I've seen a lot of runners decide to give up on shopping, so we'll see how that goes.
Indeed, and of course, with Fu, once you get his full spell list, which of course is obtained by just defeating each boss will give you 3 more spells. Once he's got his full spell list, he does have access to that Mighty Reach spell, which enables the D-Machine grind on the Giant. So I think that's probably going to be in the back of our runner's mind from the beginning.
Absolutely. I've even seen runners like deviate from the standard opening and go decide to like boop the Mist Cave boss on the head with the Lunar Staff, because we do get our regular starting equipment here. The Lunar Staff hits hard enough in the early game for that, so we'll see if our runners decide to go baseball bat on the early game a little bit if they have to.
Yeah, and if you can win a nice spell like Virus early, that just kind of trivializes the early game. So there is definite reward to doing that. Plus, you're probably going to bop them anyway at some point because you just want those 3 extra spells earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. And so many times I've seen that Wyvern is just sitting there in Mist Cave just big chillin', and that can really just set the run on fire, because then all of a sudden things are about to go really fast once your big boss hunt is off the table.
No doubt. And if it's like a vanilla Mist Dragon too, that's another one that can just turn this whole seed on its face. So this is going to be really interesting to see where they try to go. If they do the ultimate looting at the beginning, like we've seen before, like someplace like Evelyn Castle or the Watery Pass, those are still on the table, of course. A lot of it might depend on who that other character is, and of course we don't know who that is quite yet.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I guess you're looking for somebody pretty strong. You're probably looking for a big hitter just to kind of bridge the gap, somebody you can like strap an axe to. Kane's the man.
Well, Rydia has been the woman in a lot of this seed, and that's who we're starting with here. Been a very popular character throughout this event. A lot of that is due to the limits of the shops having no J items in there and required levels of tiering of items. I'm not going to go into a complete detail here, but it is to say that there's a very high % chance that the Leviathan summon will be for sale in the Evelyn shop.
Yep. It's always kind of nice to see. Leviathan was promoted from rank 6 to rank 5 for this tournament. Again, as sort of a way to try and get Rydia a little bit more used, and it's paid off a lot, because if you can pop an early an early Leviathan out of a box now, you are in good shape once you get 50 MP. Decker, unsurprisingly, has gone with the baseball bat plan. It looks like Stone Dingley is in the same boat here, leaving their characters in the front row for maximum pain.
I think this is also the fact that Rydia is the second character makes this even more appealing, because you want to get a few levels on her, because her 30 HP and very low MP is pretty bad at the beginning. However, this Mom Bomb, Decker does not want any part of that right now, and I can't say I blame him. Going to go ahead and go to the Watery Pass to loot, while it does look like Stone Dingley still wants to take this fight.
Yeah, is just so interested in getting this experience right now and getting these bombs out of the way. So we'll hit the ice one here, but hits it on just the one gray bomb. Bombs are notoriously, like, magic resistant, but I don't know how that holds up in that spot.
Well, the red bombs seem to be really resistant to that ice, but the gray bombs go down. Meanwhile, in Dekar's looting, I did notice a rune ring, a pretty nice piece of gear considering the two party members that we have right now.
Yep, also a power staff, so we have another baseball bat hanging around, one which particularly has 99% accuracy, which can be really handy. Stone Dingley does decide to go through it, gets stop and drain and peep. Stop's kind of handy to have around just in case of, like, a boss you can stop, like bearing guards, that it's useful to lock down.
Doing a little bit of looting in that mist cave too, finds a change staff and an earth hammer. Earth hammer could be useful depending on who we find. Of course, you need to see it in order for it to be useful. Otherwise, it's it's some money, and that's kind of nice. The change staff is a decent kind of mid-tier rod that can be used either by Fu or Rydia to improve the black magic stats. So we know that Fu starts with that lunar staff, which is a good closer to a high-end white magic staff, but now we've got options depending on how you want to build your Fu, or you can just slam it on Rydia too, and that'll be good.
Yeah, it looks like Dekar also decided to go and buy a 10,000 gold elven bow in Kaipo there. So deciding to maybe pick up on a weapon for Rydia. On the flip side here, you've got looks like a sellout for a dancing dagger here. So decides to pick up a dancing dagger and a pile of mute arrows. So Stone Dingley's got half the puzzle, i.e. a good Rydia weapon for now, as well as the arrows, and Dekar's got the bow. So, it's how this works out, I guess.
And I believe even Fusia can use a bow and arrow. It's a bow and arrow. So if you want to give him that power staff, you can back row glitch him too with the bow and arrow. So just lots of options for our party right here at the beginning of the scene.
Yeah, charm stick and dancing as well. So for plus 10 black magic stat, so you can really get your magic damage churning here. So that's always a nice pickup. Speaking of Kane, speaking of the man with the plan and the spear hand, here he is.
Yeah, he's got that spear in hand right now, going up against this CPU here. A little bit of a annoying fight in general, but looks like Dingley's going to use that dancing dagger with Kane, because that's another one of the weapons. Kane has a very interesting equipment draw, and having access to that dancing dagger early is really nice for him.
Yeah, oh wow, that's a good boss to find in the waterfall. It's just KQE. King, Queen, Evelyn are off the table. We'll see. Dekar looks like, yeah, he's deciding to sit there. I think he's going to decide to take the chill route here, have a seat, let the King and Queen throw some really pathetic fire spells, i.e., oh god, that actually hurt. That actually killed Rydia. What the heck?
Yeah, well, Rydia does not have a ton of health, as definitely seen here. But that means that Dekar is going to catch up to Stone Dingley, who took that Mom Bomb fight all the way through to get those first three spells, get that stop and drain on Fu right there. But Dingley's going to get 3 more here for defeating this CPU. I saw Life 1 in sight, so those are not the greatest. We're still off looking for a really good attack spell.
Yeah, Dekar does use a life potion to pick up Rydia at the end there, so wants to get a little bit of experience there. This is like one of the lowest experience overall spots, but I mean, Rydia at level 7 is a lot better than Rydia at level 1, honestly.
And now Dingley going to go to the other side of Mount Hobbs, where you can find a free summon for Rydia, making a save in case it's something that's not useful here. Ooh, that is some filth.
If Stone Dingley resets out of this, I'm rooting against him for the rest of the seed.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's resetting because he's still sitting here. So that's going to be a very nice source of attack on Rydia early. We do not have the Sylph glitch on in this event, so it's actually going to cost her MP to cast it, but still pretty nice. Although one of the bosses that it's best for is off the table with that CPU.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's great for Baigen too. Like, there's a couple of other bosses it's pretty fantastic against. Also, it lets you not have to heal with your Fu at all once Rydia gets a little bit of MP, because it does basically hit your party with a party-wide cure too as well. So that's always nice. And
now Dingley off to the Antlion Cave. one of the better early spots if you want to do some looting. But with this party, it looks like both of our runners are trying to avoid a lot of looting, just taking some of the chests that are really convenient to grab along the way instead of doing a full loot clear. And like you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Demi, with this Fu as your hero, the amount of looting that you have to do goes way down.
Yeah, I think the big thing Dekar did pick up was a Heron Robe for Rydia, did pick up a Flame Spear for Kayn, has that Rune Ring like you mentioned, bought a bow, so is in pretty good shape here, all things considered. Yeah. Stone Dingley basically is running on Dancing Dagger Kayn right now, which is beautiful, but also, you know, kind of non-standard, but it gets the job done right now in terms of damage. You don't have to worry about jumping, it's faster. There's good and bad for it.
And I wonder, with him keeping that Rydia knocked out through all this, if he's planning on waiting until that Darkness Crystal shows up and using her as a potential slingshot. Because if you've got a full party and one of the characters is 5 levels below or more of the party median, then you can get double experience on that. And that's a good way to get Rydia, who normally requires a whole lot of experience to get up to the end game spells like Nuke. This can really give her a head start if you're planning on doing that. The cost of it is you don't have access to Rydia throughout the first part of the game, and leaning on that Dancing Dagger is going to be good for now, but you're going to need that Fusia to get some good spells before too long.
Yeah, I think we've got Ice 2 now. Ice 2 did pop up at, I believe, what are we at, 900 now? Or 800? So, you know, we start seeing level 2 elemental spells here, which are fine. And again, the Dancing Dagger will continue carrying for a little while longer. You know, we're not looking at a spot with like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 health just yet, so we should be in pretty good shape, all things considered.
Yeah, I think what will be a real challenge is if this ends up being a hook round. That's the sort of thing that this sort of plan might be a bit more of a liability. If this ends up being a Magma Seed, I think this is a really good plan overall for Stone Dingley.
Yep, Leviathan shows up to this party. He's going to wave at everybody, taking away 25% of everybody's health if you're not named Fusoya and full of armor, I guess.
But it doesn't look like he's doing anything special to keep her knocked out on this, so might be saying, like, you know, if she dies, she dies, but if not, you know, I can work with that too. So
yeah, maybe
a bunch of levels here.
Maybe counting on the possibility of that Leviathan popping up for a hook route as well, so wanting to get her leveled up a little bit instead, you know, eschewing the slingshot.
Dekar right behind, heading over to Faful, gonna fight that Leviathan there. Worth noting, we did just get a Bacchus out of the Antlion Cave, and I just missed it. What did Stone Dingley get from Faful?
The Magma Key. We're going underground. We've got access.
All right.
We've also got, we still have on top, we still have the mountain, we still have Ordeals, and we still have access to Baron Inn right now for 2 fights in the 2 boss fights and 1 character. So options still kind of abound here. It looks like Stone Dingley may be interested in dumping some inventory and maybe trying to find a weapon for this. Kayn. It's a Dwarf Axe, so gonna get the back row glitch on Kayn here. And see if maybe he's gonna look like he's gonna try to stock up on hopefully life potions or cabins. Cabins are good, I think.
Yeah, that 5 cabin purchase, that's what I've found tends to be a pretty good number to buy in this flag set. And especially when you've got somebody like Fu who you can heal out of battle with if necessary. So that's nice. We're gonna see if he goes straight underground or yeah, looks like that's where he's heading right now. Gonna at least probably check the freebies is my guess.
Yeah, he gave us the okey doke by flying up to Ordeals first and then hanging a left. Yes. So looked like he was interested in the mountain, but you know, decides on the other hand, decides to give it the slip here. Yeah, continued magic flowing in. I think Lightning 3 is on the table for our runners now as well for the Fusoya, so should be feeling pretty good about that. Stone Dingley, before he tosses in the Magma Key, does locate those life potions, so it's going to stock up a little bit more for safety's sake. And here we are, underground access, 11 minutes.
Yeah, we got Fusia, we got a Magma Key. Yeah, this is going pretty quick, but we still don't have access to complete any of our objectives unless we find that Wyvern right away. That's kind of the only one that may be on the table, but That's one of the interesting things about Modern Ordeals right now, because there's no real incentive. Like, there's no objective. We don't have Tella. We don't have Cecil. But those 3 bosses represent 9 spells for Fusia and a potential Wyvern or Demus.
Yeah, and of course the 9 spells I think really are kind of the big thing here, because you transition into a lot of your underground useful spells, like,
Right.
you know, level 3 elemental spells, maybe get Virus. Cure 3 is super good. Like, obviously Cure 3 is overpowered at this point to our party's levels, but looks like Dekar is going to shop a little bit more. I'm not quite sure what he's looking for here. He's going to head up over to do a little bit of opening of boxes. Second rune ring for him as well. That's a find right off the bat. 50 gold pieces, a little less exciting though.
And speaking of looting, looks like Stone Dingley going to do some looting here in the Feymarch. Got a little bump up on the tier quality of the loot in here, because there is one trapped chest here. So a save right outside means that if the 5 warriors chest is found, he can reset out. But looks like he's done looting. Gonna just go ahead and complete the path down right now.
I think Dekar found the real item, the real get here. He actually ends up purchasing, sells his house for a cursed ring here, 35 grand. Basically has to dump basically his entire inventory other than some J items in that elven bow. And is going to grab Ether 1s here as well. Oh, geez, here we are. Well,
we are off to the races.
It's been fun, everybody, but we're going to be here for like an hour and 10 minutes, and then we're going to be done. There's a freebie Darkness Crystal in the Feymarch chest. It's party time at this point, I believe. It's party.
Yep, time to hit 5 people, and then you can do your grind. Well, you also have to get enough spells so that Fusia learns Nuke. Or not Nuke, Weak. Weak is the key spell there.
Hey, I mean, you could do Ordeals. That's 3 bosses. You got Baron in here where Dekar is. That's 2 more, so we're up to 5. You've got Dwarf Castle is 7. And then we're at like 1,600 at that point, so we should be pretty on pace there.
And Dark Elf in the first spot here. This should be dispatched quite quickly. We do see a Lunar Sparkle and in the Ashura spot, and it turns out to be Ogs to the Pogues. Ogopogo itself, not interested in fighting that for good reason. There's no potential key item there, because we do not have Tay Summon on in this event.
So I guess we're not going to be assassinating the Queen of the Sea Serpents today?
Not today. Maybe tomorrow.
Ah, that's unfortunate.
More rune rings abound.
Yeah, rune ring number 3 pops up, as well as Kane with the Flame Spear jumps on Mylan of the Elements team and just obliterates him. And there's Quake, so... and an Hourglass. So if there were ever any concerns about, like, literally anything at this point in time in terms of you getting through it, I think those are pretty gone at this point.
I believe that was the first rune ring that Stone Dingley found. Dekar's found 2, but they've done different loot patterns so far in this seed, so what one has, the other one does not necessarily have access to. Well, they have access to it if they want to go and open that particular chest.
Stone Dingley remembering I get a heal for this spot after the boss fight.
Oh, and looks like he wants the character on the moon heading over to Mysidia while Dekar is going to climb Mount Ordeals.
Yeah, maybe he's not feeling so jazzed about Yang there. I'm not sure. Yang seems like a good sling target here.
Yeah, he might be doing this just to see who the character up here is. Then he can go get Yang and then make a decision if he's ready to do his grind right there and then.
Yeah, there's a possibility that, I mean, he obviously needs bosses. We don't have weak yet. There's a possibility he definitely wants to fill out the party because you can't sling without 5 characters, so you have to be very careful about that. Because if this is a duplicate character up here, that can be pretty bad. And then if it's a dupe at like Dwarf Castle, then you're kind of hung out a little bit in terms of how you grind. Blue robe on the bridge. So what do we got? We got it all.
Yes, the alternate gauntlet up here. Yeah, going to be 5 fights of random enemies, lots of skeletons up here. Going to see some zombies and these ghosts. But Quake is going to make quick work of a lot of them. I think he should... oh, God, is it 40 MP? So he might be just shy of being able to do them all?
Not
Maybe
30. It's 30. You can let it
30.
rock.
Okay, then
You
he's
can,
good.
if you've just patched up your mana pool, you can let it rock 6 times, no problem.
Yeah, this is this Quake on Fusia is definitely easy mode right now.
Real God noting this is a seasonally appropriate gauntlet. That's right, it's spooky season. It's Halloween all month, basically.
Yeah, ghosts, zombies, and spirits.
They all get swallowed by the earth equally, though.
But now we're going to get a peek at the character on the lunar dais over on Stone Dingley's screen.
That is Dark Knight Cecil on the moon. Is this a Yang Cecil slingshot? And then you just overwhelm things with Big Flexin?
It really could be. We don't really. What do we have for Cecil right now?
Absolutely nothing.
That's what I thought. So, like, the potential is very high. Like, Cecil's one of the strongest characters if you're able to get gear for him. But if not, he's not that great. There is a lot of stuff that he could use, though. Bows and arrows, axes, swords. He's good with all of them.
Fu has learned the rest of the White Mage suite up here on the mountain as well. It looks like, yeah, we're seeing White coming in, Cure 4 coming in. Dark Knight Cecil's hanging out just outside the door. I think this is pretty free.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah. And Dingley, now climbing the mountain as well, wants to get his Cecil transformed into a Paladin, plus get those extra spells on Fu, so not a huge surprise that this is where he's heading.
I think, again, Stone Dingley having the information that the Darkness Crystal already exists, he is just looking for some bosses to trample right now. So
Yeah.
it's probably gonna be here. It's probably gonna be here to Baron in. It's probably gonna be here to Baron in, and maybe do the waterfall if he wants, and then, then like Baron in will be last because he'll want to grab Yang later. But we'll see how he ends up playing this out. Stone Dingley does not have Quake, by the way, is correct Bullboy mentioning, because Stone Dingley has not done Baron in yet, so he is behind on spells.
Yeah, that's going to make this one a bit more annoying. He does have a Stardust that's going to clear this fight. There is also a Grimoire in his inventory. I think the Thor Rages are going to be a little weak to one-shot them, but a couple of Thor Rages might be able to get past some fights here.
Yeah, he's just going to let whatever he's got rock here, though, I think. I mean, Ice 2 is going to be just fine here, honestly. It is a Legend Sword at the top, so we do get a Cecil Sword here.
Yeah, big vanilla sword up on the mountain here, and we've got some that's the Baron guards there. Kind of annoying, but less annoying when you know that you've got Quake.
Yeah, Ice 2 going to do enough work here. It's a little slow, but it's going to get us there. Baron guards get shaken up, and that's that for that here. Dekar is through the mountain first. The big thing is that, again, Stone Dingley has the underground stuff and has that check on Feymarch, which gave him the Darkness Crystal. So again, it looks like he is just setting up to grind, but he's still got to get enough bosses to get weak, and he's got all the other tools for it.
Yeah, and now that the Baron Inn and Mount Ordeals are complete for Dekar, it's like he's going to go underground, and I wouldn't be surprised if the first place he goes is the Feymarch and gets that Darkness Crystal too. I think our runners are actually really close if we're talking in race terms here. When a Sylph from the Grimoire is probably not what Stone Dingley wants right there.
Nope, please give me an AoE spell. Sylph is adorable, and I love the Sylphs, but this is not the time.
Yeah, luckily that Sylph did target one of the red skeletons in the back, and they're a bit tougher. So being able to smartly target the Dancing Dagger with Cain and use just one Thor Rage for the weaker skeletons up front was a heads-up move there. Stone Dingley also getting some extra experience for Dark Knight Cecil, which is always very useful.
Wait, no, it's not. It's completely useless. You never need it.
That is true. I was being a bit facetious there, so it's good of you to explain because I get silly sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. The big thing with Dark Knight Cecil is that when he promotes a Paladin, he always promotes at level 1.
Yeah, you can't carry over any experience that you get there, so don't waste your time grinding Dark Knight Cecil if you're planning on turning him into a Paladin. And yes, Dekar, now underground, is heading towards the Feymarch, so we'll be getting his Darkness Crystal very soon. I think right now, kind of the overall X factor right now between the two runners, I think, is the fact that Dekar bought that purse string, and that kind of gives like a bit more options and flexibility on anchoring for him than Stone Dingley has. Now, that's not really going to play out until much later in the seed, and by the time that it becomes relevant, who knows? Stone Dingley might have one in his possession as well. But that's something to keep in the back of the mind, especially if this ends up being a faster seed, which it very well could be with that Darkness Crystal. That's going to be something to think of for the final fight.
Yeah, we'll absolutely see how that ends up playing out here.
And I think with those two bosses, I didn't see it on screen, but I believe Stone Dingley should have learned Quake by now, right?
Yeah, there it is. It's going to use it here and then probably use it to clean up Baron in real quick, and then we'll kind of see where this plays out for both our runners.
And now Dekar doing a little bit of additional shopping here in the Feymarch. Nothing in the weapon shop that he is interested in. Still on the lookout, still doing some shopping. There's something or some things that he might be interested in since he's checking both stuff. Now, I believe Dekar is, if we're going in like checks as far as our race goes, Dekar is that Barrett in ahead and is now heading into the Silk Cave, which is a place that Stone Dingley did not go when he went underground. So Dekar going to be unlocking Sheila 1 as a possible key item. So we're going to get another check after this. Assuming he doesn't go, he might go straight to Baron, or excuse me, might go straight to Dwarf Castle after this if he wants. Might go to the moon after this, but if he goes back to the overworld, I imagine he's going to check Sheila 1.
Yeah, options certainly abound here, so we'll see how this plays out.
Now, armed with the power of Quake, Stone Dingley shouldn't have too much trouble with these bosses in Baron Inn, and will get his Punch Mage. And yeah, it looks like right over to Kabul for Dekar. We're going to get a check here with Sheila 1. Not a lot of housing units in this tower, but Yang lucky to snatch one with his wife. And the Adamant is a very big pickup.
Yeah, that's a big Sheila 1 check that Stone Dingley did not get here. As that does complete the Forge objective, which means we're going to get some sort of plus 15 stat stick here. So game go faster now. Darkness Crystal and Forge in hand. 3 down, 1 to go.
Yeah, so we're on sealed, or the Luca key or the Wyvern for go mode here, and that's pretty fast. I mean, even though we don't have the 4, the 3 that we've gotten have been pretty fast. Now, there have been some seeds in this event where you get 3 right away, and that 4th, it takes a while to find. So that is still definitely a possibility.
Yeah, either way, though, it's got to be nerve-wracking at this point.
Casual black shirt in the bookcase in Cokel's Forge. Not a bad pickup there. And we have a Triton deck.
I guess that's what you want. You want the black magic stat here for certain. So that's where you want to be in terms of weaponry.
Ooh, that's an Artie bow, a Tower shirt, and a Zeus gauntlet, I think. And one other thing that I missed. I think that's what we've got here. That's a pretty stacked shop that Cokel's got there.
Yeah, Artemis Bow is also just useful for fixing your agility in the opposite direction by giving plus 15 to one of your casters. I know it, or plus 10 to one of your casters. I know it fouls up your spellcasting stat, but the go fast sometimes is what matters the most in a lot of spots.
Yeah, and if you're using a curse ring to do it the other way, that also tanks your spellcasting stat. So either one of those things, like, is a solution for agility at the cost of magic. We got a little bit more vanilla over on Stone Dingley's screen as he is going over to Dwarf Castle, finds the dolls, and that's where Dekar is heading right now too. But we're still going to be waiting on Stone Dingley to get over to the Sylph Cave, because that's going to be really important, because that's going to lead to that adamant, which he's going to really want.
Yeah, the big thing is that the pan would be the pickup here, because it would definitely direct him to go do the double check first before doing anything else.
That's true. That might be something that Stone Dingley likes to do, is wait for that pan. It's one of those things where it could pay off because you only have to walk down there once if you get the pan, and that uses time. But in this case, we know what he doesn't know, that Sheila 1 is very nice in this particular scene. Okay, we see Stone Dingley knocking out both Rydia and Yang. Looks like he is setting up for the slingshot, probably taking these bosses, hoping for Fusia to learn weak through this process. That might be the same thing that Dekar's doing here, but he doesn't have a fifth character yet, so because he hasn't got to the moon to pick up that Cecil, but he's going to be picking up a fifth character right here in Dwarf Castle. If that's not a duplicate, then that might be what he's ready to set up for as well.
Well, we're going to see either way. He needed the bosses either way for weeks, so
right.
This is pretty sensible. And the character who pops out we're going to get to see first on Stone Dingley's side is, Dekar's setting up by killing off Rydia, killing off Kane here. The character here is Porum, so a white mage, who's going to be, looks like, preferable to Yang here. So it looks like we are going to get our Reflect on Dingley's side. Going to go with the Porum Fu Rydia shell with the two fighters. So going to kind of go demi-hybrid until we determine if we've got like a fourth caster, or if he just decides to go, gets a big stick and just does true hybrid strats.
Yeah, this is going to be a really interesting situation to see what they want to do, because remember, we still don't really have a good weapon for Cecil, so that's kind of another factor. Now, it's like he is knocking out Cecil as well, so wants to only get experience on things, but you can't slingshot 3 characters, because one of those characters is going to be the median, so yeah.
It's just real interesting because, like, when seeds are going fast, you've got to make these, like, really snap decisions on where you want to try and get your power and where you want to get your key items.
Just the spoon is the key item, so still on the hunt for that Luca key. Not going to be a vanilla key behind vanilla dolls.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you really kind of are going to be super desperate for the other kitchen utensil. The pan, again, would direct you into getting the freebie check. Sorc shirts and tiaras, we're in love with that option here. Time to sell the inventory and buy some armor for the kids.
Yeah, especially after picking up that forum, getting a little bit more stuff for her. That sorcerer robe could be great for anybody who slings spells, and the tiara is probably the headgear that you want for Rydia.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good enough for the end game. It's good enough for right now, so that's a pretty big buy here for Stone Dingley. So he does some shopping. Dekar's like, hey, I got the tower key. I'm still looking for key items. Let's go climb the tower. Stone Dingley decides, after a little bit of waffling, that he's want to do a little bit of the shop in here. So he's going to hop down to Tomra and see what's on sale here for now. Bit of divergence, again, kind of a little bit of time that Stone Dingley's giving up to shop here, but we'll see if this pays off. It does not look like it is. I think he's just looking for a Leviathan summon that's not here.
Yeah, something like that. And we did see Dekar do a lot of shopping in the early part, so this is kind of Stone Dingley maybe catching up to that a little bit, but is not going to the Sylph Caves, so has some other plans right now, and looks like it's more shopping or looting, because this is head over to Korea. We don't have an Earth Crystal, nor do we have a harp, so this is purely for shopping, and Dingley might be looking for that curse ring that Dekar found. We know that's in Silvera.
Yep, and we shall see if this is where the game decides to take him, if he's on the full shop loop right now, before doing anything else.
Here we got a little bit more vanilla up at the top of the tower with Dr. Luge. I think with Quake and Toad, this should not be a difficult fight at all. It's not a very threatening fight. The most annoying thing is it's a long fight. There's a lot of HP up here, 3 forms of the boss, and he likes to talk. And talking is slow in Final Fantasy IV.
Who doesn't like to talk, though?
Well, there are days.
That's fair.
But it doesn't matter what day it is, Dr. Luge likes to yap. So yeah, here's Stone Dingley now, getting news that the King Queen Evelyn is here. So it looks like up to 1600. 1900 is when he's at full power. So just 3 more bosses, and he will be at a full power Fusia.
Yeah, 1800, because we don't have J spells on, will get you your entire magic pool, so you don't have to worry about it. Which both our runners are going to get to post haste here, it looks like.
It looks like we're going to see a rare Belknap Z sighting over on Dekar's screen. That's what happens if you kill Belknap a little bit faster, and so that means this fight a little bit longer because of more talking and more hit points to cut through.
Oh no, more talking.
And it is the tower that Stone Dingley is going to, so he is going to see this same Dr. Luge fight before too long, as well as be able to check that tower key. I'm thinking that Dingley is probably going to be skipping Sylph altogether, just by virtue of the plays that he's made so far. Unless either one of these key item checks yield a PAM, I imagine he's going to grind after this and then do the moon. But, I mean, I've been wrong so many times from the commentary booth. We'll see what actually happens, of course.
I mean, this is where, again, every small decision matters. You have to decide whether the time of checking that freebie is, enough for the possibility of one of 2 key items that would potentially put you on the verge of go mode.
Right. And we get the poison walk over on Dekar's screen. Everybody loves that, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm all about that life, but I also have the stream muted.
Yeah, that is one of the nice things. You don't have to hear that sound effect. Just get to see the lovely pixelation that happens there.
I've got my eyes closed.
Okay, well, I don't know if you're going to be doing all that great a commentary if you continue that trend.
I can't even hear you. What are you saying? I see you lighting up. Because I opened my eyes and looked at the other monitor.
We do have a Karate Man in the Tower Key room. It's always a little bit sad when, as a runner, if you see a boss that's quote-unquote free in a non-free spot, but at this point, with Fu being as strong as he is, it doesn't really matter all that much anymore.
On the one hand, they all can't be winners, but on the other hand, I mean, we're going to have a pile of levels before we do moon bosses anyway, so what do we care?
Yeah.
to the last spells we have to go, but weak pops up at 1800, which both of our runners will have as they decide to bail out of the tower. And we'll see, is it time for Dekar to grind? Is it time for Dingley to grind? Does everybody want to grind? Is it time to get some levels?
I think for Dekar, I think it's a really easy decision to go and grind. I think the only thing that might give him a little bit of pause is if this tower key check ends up being exactly the Luca key, because then you might as well do that while you're, as long as you can, and you often can with a full-powered Fu. You could go do that boss now before having to do the grind, but I think almost anything else, it's grind time.
Grind time is pretty great, honestly.
Yeah, that is going to be good for Stone Dingley.
Could it be exactly the item that he needed to drive him into Sylph Cave? Yes.
So that's a relief for once Stone Dingley gets that adamant, then that kind of advantage that Dekar had for going to Sylph early is going to be kind of voided. And Dekar now making his second dive into the cave means that Stone Dingley will only have to go through there once. So that's a little bit of time that he can use to make up on the little bit of a lead that Dekar has right now.
Back and forth they go, as always.
So we have another potential chance for that Luca key from Sheila too. Sheila's already had the goods today. Will she have double goods?
I mean, that would be a lot of goods at this point, honestly.
Well, I mean, this seed has been given a lot of gems to these players really quickly. We got that Magma Key early. We got that Darkness Crystal early. We got both halves of Forge early. Here's a hook. Maybe to go get a possible Leviathan, but as of right now, I think, I don't think they've got weak parties, so I don't think they're desperate for the character. I just don't see the hook being used right now. But like I said, I've been wrong many times before.
I don't think Leviathan serves a purpose at this point.
You're probably right about that. Yeah, it's big whale time for Dekar, where Stone Dingley has defeated the Karate Man and is now ready to exit the tower. We'll get that pin, and hopefully it's going to be a hard left turn. Well, from the actual character's perspective, it's probably a right turn over to Sylph Cave.
But yeah, this is also where Stone Dingley does technically get some time back, or at least what looks like time back, because this cutscene's already done. He did the double moon instead.
Yeah, Dekar's routing, I think, has been really nice throughout this early game. Was able to do the little bit of looting, taking that fight, just face checking the two bosses early, noping out of the Mom Bomb, and taking that fight with King Queen, I think has really paid off.
Yeah, both runners have certainly made their share of informational checks as well. Double Sylph Cave on Dekar's side, Stone Dingley early moon check, and Dekar is not going to the Giant right now, so he's going to double cutscene anyway here. So going to end up having to go back. We'll see if he takes the informational check on Bahamut Cave, because that could be interesting. So we'll see how that plays out, especially because we are sitting on what it looks like 9 key items right now. We're close to 10 with nothing to do is kind of the problem here.
Agreed. Now, it could be time to, see if you can beat one of the bosses in the Lunar Subterrane, but I don't know. That's a long walk. That's a lot of time to take for a boss that you might be able to defeat right now.
It might be why you take the informational check on Bahamut Cave. I'm not sure. You don't get a key item from that spot though, which is a bit of a, which stings a little bit. But there's so many good options here, but none of them get us to 10 key items other than doing a boss in the subterrane. And we know Baron Guards are gone. We know King and Queen are gone. We know Yang is gone. You know, things are a little dicey on the available bosses front, but Dekar's going down. He's going to give it a look right now.
Yeah, wants to get to that 10 key items before committing to a grind. And I understand that, since once you hit that 10 key item mark, you do get double experience for all encounters. And so that just halves your grind time, basically. So if this pays off, now he is going to the Murasame altar, which is, of course, objective number 5. So if he could do all of that in one go, get that last key item, if this is a boss that he can beat, that could be really advantageous for him.
Yeah, this is sure a play here. I'm gonna put the heroine robe on Porum to try and keep her alive. It looks like. This is where things get interesting, because 9 key items is not where you want to be right now. Like, you want, like, 9 is so bad because it's just like, 10 is out there and it's on the moon somewhere. Oh no!
How about a wyvern though?
How about everything is here at the top?
So no need for that Luca key. Objective number 1 and 5 in the exact same place. So this is a hard required Murasame altar.
This is go mode, and Dekar's taken the fight. Dekar is gonna off Rydia, has a veil up on Porum here, so is gonna use her for reflecting here. And
that heroine robe gives enough speed, able to get that slow off before the wall on Wyvern. So, like, this fight is going really smoothly so far. Yeah, this is looking very promising for Dekar, as Stone Dingley has got his Triton dagger, so now has completed objective number 3.
Yeah, but the big thing right now is that this Foo is doing about $6 grand to cast with the rune ring plus the Triton dagger here. Yeah, my brain can't words. So is feeling pretty good right now, honestly, and's got the slowdown on Wyvern here. The spot's not exceedingly fast to begin with because it is a moon spot. That nuke just hit for 8,500. That's the good stuff right now. Second slow is also going out, so he's just got this fight pretty well on lock right now. This Wyvern's just sort of big chillin'.
Hitting Porum with the reflected nuke, I think, is going to be the biggest worry for Dekar here. But as long as that doesn't happen, I think he's in pretty good shape, because resurrecting the dead characters like that King, probably not Rydia, because I think he wants to keep her knocked out for a potential slingshot. But resurrecting the characters to have more potential targets for that reflect. But oh, that's rough. Hitting that Porum is not what he wants to see right now.
Yeah, so that's gonna put the offense on pause here. Dingley's giving us the same look, though. It looks like he knows it's an objective. He's gonna know it's 2 objectives. So both our runners are gonna have the go mode knowledge together at around 46 minutes. We'll see if Dingley decides to take the fight, though. That's the big one here.
Yeah, I can see arguments for not taking it, especially on Dingley's side. He doesn't have that heroine robe that we saw, or does he? I don't think he's got that same heroine robe that Dekar has.
He does
not.
Could be mistaken. The other big thing is, do you want to really go through all, like, he burnt off 2 Star Veils here, so you still have 1 for the Z fight. And
Wow.
It's here, baby. It's all at the top. 3 for the road. Don't even have to go to Cape Bahamut. 3.
Wow, that is a triple. We've got the hat trick.
Let's go. And by let's go, oh god, it's go mode. Let's go. That's 10 key items. Let's go. It's time to rise and grind, everybody.
And that's 10 key items. So yeah, here we are going right to the Giant. So after you do this, you don't know what either of the bosses are. Do you go back to the moon afterwards and do Cave Bahamut and then walk down? Or do you go down to Sealed Cave and complete that one?
Oh, you
That's
do.
going to be the choice.
You 100% do Cave Bahamut. You got to go to the moon anyway, and we have no pass.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. But into the giant we go. We have got a D-Machine grind in front of us over on Dekar's screen. Stone Dingley is taking this fight as well. So both of them going for that Wyvern right away.
Yeah, it looks like we've got Rydia is targeting Porum with a Kamikaze here, so is just going to try and blow up the Rydia because wants to keep the slingshot going, but without a target, it actually doesn't do anything.
Yeah, both targets need to be alive upon resolution.
Cecil has no arrows left, so he's punching. Wyvern obliges though, decides to microwave Rydia instead. Looks like we're gonna have to throw some ethers here at Fu. There's an ether 2.
Yeah, both of our runners picking up ethers early in anticipation of this D-Machine grind, so having them on hand, very handy right now.
With the reflect target down, is going to shift to the slower Quake spell here. I think we're close enough. He's landed 3 nukes already, so 2 Quakes should do the job here. We do need to life up a party member though. Cecil may die here, and then this is where things could get a little sketchy. Yeah, because there's the timing on it. We need to
That might not be lethal though. Yeah.
It's not lethal, but we've got to take the time to heal here. This is now a sketch fest because we've got to either land a Quake or try to see if we can sneak one through the wall here. This is scary time. He's gonna go for the direct nuke. Remedy goes off for 2730. The wall is down. He actually cast Quake. Okay, he plinked out the menu. But that heal is going to be enough to keep Wyvern alive, and that's bad. Stone Dingley might be in exceptional amounts of trouble here. The most trouble of them all.
That is a tough fight there. One thing that Dekar did that Stone Dingley wasn't able to do was get that double slow off. And you'll see just how much faster that Wyvern is when that double slow hasn't been applied.
Yeah, if he went for the nuke there, hoping that the wall was down, he would have stuck it.
Yeah, that's also true.
And he might have gotten the kill because he would have done 6,000 instead of 2,000. That's just unfortunate timing. That's really rough. And yeah, the Quake taking time to cast is really bad in that spot. And Dekar's off to the grind races.
You can kind of understand why he wouldn't do that nuke there. I mean, it would be a desperation play, but if the timing is off and that wall is still up, then that's just the nuke being reflected right on Fu, and that's not something that he wants right there, of course.
Yeah, I think the big thing is up here in the booth, you can kind of make that call. Yes. But when you're in the moment and you see the fight sort of falling apart in your hands like that, you're going for desperation, going for Quake casts there, trying to make it work, and then it's not working. Doing his best to try and maintain his double slingshot and keep Porum and Rydia low. And at the end of the day, that ended up, instead of being able to throw a life potion with Rydia, instead was worrying about keeping his sling alive and then didn't throw a potion. It's a lot of little things that all sort of compounded, and that's really just a tough spot to be in sometimes. This is a very difficult game at the very high levels.
And it's one of those things where this fight is a lot easier with everybody staying alive throughout the whole course of it. Because then you can throw a life potion if somebody goes down, and switching to Quakes isn't as much of a big deal in a situation like that if the character with the Star Veil gets nuked on. So, but having only 3 characters that you actually want to use means there's just less targets for that Wyvern's reflected nukes to hit, and so that's could be a problem. It's really nice when a situation like that happened and the nuke happens to miss, because the low magic power at this point is kind of a blessing sometimes.
Yeah, and as I always also love to say about For Enterprise is a much easier game when you're up here in the booth, honestly.
Oh yeah, I remember so much more about like the technical aspects of the game when I'm in the commentary booth than when I'm in the racing position. That is so true. That Kane with the Star Veil staying up for now. This is nuke 3 or 4. We got to be pretty close to having that Wyvern be off now.
Yeah, I think it's 5 nukes is kind of what you need here, but he's not gonna maintain, looks like, the double sling. He's at least gonna get the forearm sling. But it looks like I think he's given up on the potential double here instead. There goes Wyvern down and out. Yeah, Rydia's going to gain 16 levels here, so we'll see how that ends up working out in terms of the actual level spread. It's still, the big thing is it might not be enough to actually push her over the top.
And after taking an unfortunate wipe on the first one, you could understand why he didn't want to keep Rydia knocked out for that fight as well, because he could have just faced the same situation that he did the first time.
Yeah, Rydia jumped all the way up to level 29, by the way, so the double sling is off the table now. But looks like Stone Dingley is going to give us a look at Cave Bahamut instead here. Do you think Stone Dingley might have... Like, there's no way you can do Fu and Friends with this lineup the way it is right now, right? Like, there's no way that you can punch out enough damage on Z to make that fight work with just, like, the solo Fusoya fight.
I don't think it would be possible. Maybe if like we had a crystal sword for Cecil, but
yeah, because you need a second character to sort of get you through the early bit of the game here. So that's Odin back there. So we've got the Odin information. Yeah, he's going to take double King Ryu's to reset the state here and probably get his sling back running.
Yeah, that Hourglass 2 that was found early gonna pay off here, because these King Ryus could be very dangerous if they aren't stopped in place.
Yeah, but after these blitzes, they're not going anywhere, so... Rydia just dies. That's actually kind of optimal here. I think that's what he's looking for, so... Gonna use the 120,000 experience here to kind of get himself over the line. He does need to Ether Fu, I believe, one more time here. So yeah, there's an Ether 1, just to make sure he's got enough gas in the old tank. Cecil can kill off the back dragon here, because it's got 9 hit points or less, guaranteed, or your money back.
Meanwhile, Dekar is finished with the grind here. Casual 700 plus 1,000 experience. Yeah, that's going to be pretty good. Just needs to go... defeat either that Odin or go down to the sealed cave. I imagine it's going to be Odin is going to be the choice. And then it's off to Zemus.
Hey, Cecil and Kane both hit for 1 because they have no weapons.
Well, we have Virus.
But yeah, this run basically coming down to that Wyvern wipe here, and so yeah, so Stone Dingley's going to reset the, reset his sling. He only probably needs like 5 D machines, much like Dekar, maybe 6. That's about it.
Now, it is worth noting that the Odin is not easy at that spot. But I do think with the leveling and everything, I don't think Dekar's going to have too much of a problem with it, but like if we didn't have access to a D machine, that would be a formidable foe.
Yeah, that's a pretty brutal fight there. I mean, the big thing is that the magic power at that spot is pretty abysmal, so you can survive Zantatsukins there. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's the punches before the Zantatsukin that is the scary of that fight in that particular spot. Because the punch is strong, Zantatsukin not so strong. And our runners now Stone Dingley going into that giant. They kind of swap places because Dekar now going to Cape Bahamut where Stone Dingley just came from. Stone Dingley now in the Giant, where Dekar just came from.
Yeah, Dekar with the clear lead though here, unless
Yes.
Odin decides to somehow give him the business here. It's unlikely, but it could happen.
Yeah, I think just a little bit too many levels for it to be too much of a threat here. We've got that we can cast lit 3s to hit weaknesses. We got nukes, which are really fast. So yeah, just like a lot of things. And you know, I can see Porum with either the heroin robe or the any other armor. Like heroin robe means you can set up like berserk on Yang really fast. So you've got options basically. Here comes Odin. I imagine even with the 2,000 hit points, Odin might be able to one-shot Rydia in the front row there.
Yeah, that's a possibility, but Rydia is certainly gonna get some hits here, and Yang is berserked with, I believe, has a Thunderclaw in hand, so this should be pretty dang trivial.
Well, that's 7,000 damage that he's attacking for. Not bad at all. Odin is down. Dekar now officially in go mode. He will collect the crystal right here.
Yeah, we're just that's come on, game. Is it time to just continue giving everybody what they want?
Yeah, a little bit of a prize for Kane here with that white spear.
You can use that to reflect whites from Kane in the Zemus fight to sneak in a little bit of extra damage.
Wow, that is some slow damage there.
But it is damage.
It is damage. No doubt. Stone Dingley took a little while to find this fight, but must have gotten one of those seeds where have to go through a lot of encounters to get there, but finds his way to the Searcher Beamer fight. This fight is, as long as like you heal regularly and everything, it's not terribly dangerous. All damage you should take in this fight, as long as you execute it properly, is percentage based. So.
Yep. So a little bit of healing and everything is gonna be all right, but you know, still gotta get through this grind while Dekar is Dekar's touching the tile, and probably 2 minutes away from the save point at the bottom here.
Yeah. Yes. In other races, we've seen people just skip the save point here and go right to Zemus. Do you think Dekar's going to do that, or do you think there's going to be a safety save there?
I almost always safety save just in case. I mean, he's got the cursed ring. He's got all the tools that he could ever want. Like, I mean, he's a great runner who has proven himself. There's a reason he's here in the quarterfinals. He's had a huge ladder season. I mean, the man can race, let's be real for a minute. But I still think you take the extra few seconds to save your game.
I mean, I always do, but I mean, I didn't make it to the quarterfinals, so we'll see. It's going to be interesting here, and we'll see. With this party setup, you could go just like completely hybrid. You could go full reflect. You've got options as far as what your strategy is going to be in that fight as well.
Yeah, we'll see how he decides to attack it. But hey, there's a bunch of flags in chat. It's about.
There certainly are.
It's about that time.
Yeah, we got to ask a question. Do you want to ask it, or do you want me to ask it?
I mean, I'm usually the one who has the answers. I don't know how this works out. This is weird. Take it from me.
Okay. Of course, we randomize a lot of things in Free Enterprise. Zemus is always the final boss because, well, Zemus is no joke, and Big Bang's going to be Big Bang wherever it is, so I don't want to bother with that. So we wanted to still randomize something, so we randomized his appearance. We've got, roughly 2.3 billion sprites. That may or may not be accurate. in the pool of possible Z like outfits. So we've got to ask the question: whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
It's a lot of butts.
There's like I said, that number might not be accurate, but that's my guess as to how many.
It's like 1 billion.
So yeah, once the crystal is used, will transform into that form. But the script, everything about the fight is going to be exactly the same as it normally is. You're still going to see your big bangs, you're going to see your black holes. Nothing has changed as far as the battle itself, just the appearance. And it's definitely a test of preparation, because Zemus is no joke. We have a lot of levels of that can be enough, but you still need to know exactly what you're doing in order to have really efficient, really fast Zemus fights.
But yeah, the shake is up. The crystal is going to get fired by Fusoya here. So here we go. Eventually.
Yeah, I think this is, and right now, that wipe to Wyvern really puts Stone Dingley in right at the at a big disadvantage here. I think Stone Dingley is going to need Dekar to possibly fail on the Zemus fight probably twice if he wants to get back into it. I don't think that's likely, but anything is possible. And it looks like we have Barthandelus must here. Little Final Fantasy 13 action.
I mean, of all the things to see here, the speedrun killer is maybe not what you want to see. Single star veil on hand, so did throw that on the Kane. Gonna push out a little bit of physical damage here, but just basically gonna let the spells reflect, it looks like.
Barthandelus wrecked me, and I'm not even a speedrunner. So hopefully the Dekar won't have much problems with him here.
Yeah, Dekar ends up stopping to heal here instead of going for more damage, so he's going to lose a little bit of time here on this particular fight to start. So, you know, this is not optimal, certainly. If you have a Cure 3, that's kind of where you want to be. But, I mean, Nuke is kind of your big output spell here.
And it looks like that counter nuke hitting Rydia, I think, was just not what Dekar wanted to have happen there. I think almost any other character you would have been more okay with. But Rydia, with her very high black magic stat and that access to that nuke spell, means he wants to be throwing out those and doesn't want to deal with Rydia dying to even a nerfed Big Bang at the beginning of this fight.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You got to kind of keep your damage output stable right now, because again, the nukes are the big damage output. You're literally hoping that Yang catches the nuke, but he did not. So not really ideal. Stone Dingley is heading on over now to the airship. Is he going to decide on? Is his decision going to be to take Sealed Cave? It looks like he's actually going to dip into Sealed Cave for us.
After that wipe to Wyvern, I can understand making this play. Because if this ends up being pass here, that could be a way that he feels like he might be able to save a little bit of time by not having to go through lunar subterranean. But I don't know. I think this is, well, I mean, we know it's not going to be the best, but making a save here.
Nice. He checked the objectives. It looked like he popped up his objective menu and went, "Oh, I can just do Cave Bahamut," which is already on the way. Not done it to pass gamble.
Yeah, and I think it also might have been the initial thought, but then realizing, I need to walk all the way down there, warp out. Is that actually going to save me much time over lunar subterranean anyways? So, yeah, makes the same decision. Just head over, complete Cave Bahamut first. It is full reflect that it looks like Dekar has been going with here. And there is the flash. Dekar has done it. Is going to be forcing a Game 3 in this matchup. So that's going to be great. If y'all want more free enterprise, our runners are giving you more free enterprise.
Yeah, hour 6 and 6 seconds. We're in a hurry to get things done.
Yeah, without a doubt. This just shows Like, this seed was giving them all the tools, and Dekar took those tools and used them well in order to get through the seed very efficiently. A job well done by DekarSMASH, without a doubt. And I believe we are now joined by DekarSMASH, the winner of tonight's race. GG's on your race, and congratulations in forcing a Game 3.
GG, thank you. Happy to still be in it.
So, how about that Virasame altar, huh?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Really a sketchy fight. I'm so glad I stopped right before I talked to the Sparkle, turned down the battle speed to 3, and equipped that heroine robe for extra agility on Porum. I think that made it much more doable.
Yeah, I agree. I think you got in that double slow. That really just kind of made that fight go a lot more smoothly. I mean, it was touch and go for a minute there, but able to get everything that you needed to get there. And then you decided to go just like all reflect all the time on the Zemus, despite having like a very high level gang. Was there any thoughts to doing hybrid, or are you just more comfortable doing reflect? What was your thought process there?
Well, at the time, I didn't really have any gear for the Zerkers other than Yang, who doesn't really need gear. It was like a flame spear for Kane until I got the white spear, which was after my grind, and I didn't have anything for that Cecil. So that was one factor, and I guess the other factor was, I think reflect strats are just a little bit faster, and probably the extra 2 or 3 D machines I had to do to get Porum to white is about the time difference that I would have had doing a hybrid strat anyway.
And like this seed gave you so much right at the start of it. You found that magma key really early. Once you got underground, you got that darkness crystal for free, and suddenly the whole game was opened up for you. What do you feel like when you're given seeds like that? Is that where you feel the most comfortable, or does it make you a little bit more anxious?
Well, it definitely makes me anxious. I feel kind of comfortable with it just because I've had so many seeds in the qualifiers, in the practice I've done that play out like that I sort of know how to handle it. So I did feel comfortable, but it is always kind of a panic mode anyway, because especially when you have that boss hunt still out there, a lot of the time there's this weird sort of ambiguous sort of like, are you in go mode, are you not? It depends on if Wyvern is in one of these 7 locations versus these 5 others. And the decision there of whether to like treat it like you're in go mode or not is a really, really difficult one.
Well, it looks like you navigated that well today to your win. Demerin, did you have any questions for Dekar here?
Not really. It's always just really impressive to watch the top runners run, and Dekar has definitely proven that he's at the top of the ladder, so it's a blast to watch you just cut through seeds like this left and right.
Thank you.
Did you have any other final thoughts about this seed, about this event, or any trash talk you want to throw at Stone Dingley? Friendly trash talk.
No, definitely no trash talk at all. I really respect Stone Dingley as a runner, and it's a lot of fun playing against him because it really pushes me to do my best. And I guess other thoughts, I don't know. I don't know if I've had a Fu hero in this tournament yet. That was kind of cool. I haven't done a ton of practice with Fu either. But he's a really powerful character. Sometimes the early game can be a little awkward depending on the distribution of his spells and if he doesn't learn any offensive spells for a while, but this time that wasn't too big of an issue, especially with that King Queen Eblin to accelerate things a little bit.
Well, I'd like to say GG once again. Congratulations on your win, and good luck in Game 3 against Stone Dingley. I know it's going to be one heck of a race.
Thanks, I think it will be.
All right, well, that was our winner tonight, DekarSMASH. And we've got Stone Dingley now heading down through the Lunar Core off to fight Zemus. And and just finish off this seed. This was a very interesting race. It didn't end up being as close as some of the other races are, but there was just a couple things that it could have flipped the other way on this one without a doubt. And here we are right at the beginning of the fight once again. And like the only like visual difference is we've got a Cecil instead of a Yang for this fight. So we're going to see if we're going to see another full reflect here, or if we're going to switch it up and see some berserkers in there as well.
This full reflect feels likely because we just don't have a lot of power in the fighters here.
Yeah, especially with the lack of Yang. I think Dekar was more set up if he wanted to do a hybrid strat to do it, because you don't really need gear for Yang, as he said during the interview. Yeah, likely to be full reflect. A little bit lower levels on Stone Dingley's side than we saw on Dekar, especially on that Rydia, having less than 2,000 hit points. But if everything goes well, that shouldn't be too much of an issue.
Yeah, optimally, and it's really hard on these flags with the hero flag and agility issues. Optimally, you are killing Zemus off before Big Bang 2 hits. Again, that's optimal. That's real hard to do, especially because like you're setting up double slow here and everything, so it'd be a little tough.
Yeah, no access to silk webs really kind of hampers a lot of your ability at the beginning, because ideally, like that would be the role that you'd see Cecil or Kane do, is throw out a silk web while your casters can focus on just doing as much damage as possible. But since you've got to be throwing that out with a Lucia instead, that means that's just and Forum here now for the full double slow. That's just additional time that it takes before you set up everything else. So it's like one of those things that you think of as the difference between having J items and shops and not having them, is you don't know if you're going to have it. You know, you could use a siren to steal a silk web, and I've seen that in multiple races of this event. That's just how big a silk web is during the Z fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the no J item flags could be just real tough in spots like this.
And sometimes those aren't even the first things. Like you lament, like you're not going to be finding like Boreas to do damage. You're not going to find the sirens for your grind. But sometimes it's those other ones, the illusions and the silk webs, that you end up missing in, and kamikazes that you're missing in very important fights as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is looking like it's a really good reflect setup here. Again, once you get the slows down with 2 nukers and a white caster, you could probably be in good shape.
Yeah, I think everything looks good for Stone Dingley here. He's got tier 3s in the inventory too. That really helps as well. So that gives a little bit more freedom to heal up Forum and Rydia just in case here. But yeah, I think everything's looking pretty good right now for Stone Dingley.
Yeah, Curt 3 potions are just a big deal because it does give your fighters that you're not using to fight something to do.
Yeah, and something to do that could be relevant. Hopefully it won't be, because ideally you're not going to see another Big Bang, but with that setup at the beginning, you might do it. And in general, I think it's really tough to try to nerf Big Bangs other than the first one.
Yeah, the timing window is pretty narrow. You know, you need to hit it between the shake and the Big Bang, but at such a timing that basically when Zemus casts a counter nuke, it just lowers his magic power to basically halves the magic power. Not that it's relevant here, because that last nuke is going to be more than enough damage. Stone Dingley is done and through. You know, tough break for sure. It's going to finish in the, looks like the 116 range. We'll get an official time. Yeah, 116.07, so 10 minutes of differential here at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think like a big chunk of that was that Wyvern fight, but Dekar did have a bit of a lead going into that Stone Dingley. Had some time that he had to make up, and when that Wyvern came and was just extraordinarily rude to him, that was no help.
Yeah, but like losing the teleport in and the walk in, and there's a lot there, certainly.
Yeah, and I mean, and the other thing is Dekar just didn't make any mistakes when it came down to it at the end either. And so those things added up. And I know we are joined by our runner-up for tonight's race, the Stone Dingley. GG's on that run. A little bit of an unfortunate run-in with the Wyvern there, but overall, a nice run. What are your immediate thoughts after that race?
Just that, you know, at this level, you really can't make a mistake like that. I went back and timed it. I lost about, from the walk down, the teleporting, the whole thing, about 5 minutes of time, and that is a lot of time to spot to somebody as good as Dekar, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. Now, I could ask a similar question that I asked to him earlier in the interview. This game gave you like a lot of access, a lot of goodies, really front-loaded them, and it ended up being quite a fast seed. What do you feel when there are like what we call jet seeds? Do you feel a little bit more comfortable in them, or do you prefer the long, drawn-out?
I think I tend to do better on the drawn-out ones. Like, if I have to full clear a seed, I feel like I have got an edge over some of the runners that are much better at the jetty ones. Unfortunately, when you start with Foo, it seems like it's inevitably going to be a bit of a jettier one. And fun fact, this is the first Foo seed that I have played with this flag set, so that was fun.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of Fusia. Of course, he's not available other than a hero in this event, so not a whole lot of play with him. And so it's like I don't know, like as you said, like it's just you might be a little bit rusty with him, but that being said, you do still have another chance, another game in this event, Game 3 versus Dekar. Do you have any thoughts about this rivalry now between the two of you, or any other final thoughts that you have about this event?
I think rivalry is a bit of a strong word, but I'm certainly going to go into into the third match looking to shave off as much time, make some aggressive plays, and maybe, just maybe, hope for another incredibly rude required demist at a weird location, just to see how that goes.
Well, is there like any hero that you've been hoping to hit that you haven't yet in this event, or that you'd really like to see? If you want to keep that secret, feel free to not answer.
Honestly, just give me an Eddie hero at this point. Something that'll make the seed go longer and make it just, you know, extend my tournament run in case I don't make it out past Friday.
All right. Well, best of luck in your next race against DekarSMASH. Do you have any final thoughts today about this seed, or just in general about the event?
None on my top of my head right now. I'll be sure to come up with something to say tomorrow. Right now, I think I am just going to go get ready for bed. I am super tired.
All right. Well, GG's and good night. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you all.
All right. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of the broadcast here. Before we go, want to give big thanks to our re-streamer tonight, Harump, our tracker, Awakened Smoke 3. Without them, we do not have a show. So big shout outs to them. Also, Darren, it's been fun. I haven't called a race with you in quite a while, and it was really fun to be in the booth with you again.
As always, it's always good to be back with the old school crews and all the people I've met and all my friends from the community. So yeah, it was definitely a blast. Far too soon over, but we kind of had a feeling that this one was going to be a quick one when that darkness crystal fell out. No shock there. But yeah, these runners run race 3. Keep an eye on the Discord for the remaining races here in the round of 8. The quarterfinals will rage on through the weekend, it looks like, which is going to be great. Man, it's almost at the end. It's almost over, and that's always pretty impressive.
Yeah, another really fun event. Lots of great races, lots of really, like, we've got great races, but I think what's even better is we've got a lot of great runners, and it's not all the same runners that we're seeing. We're seeing new people who are being really great at this race, and it's really fun to see a lot of names that are just great runners here at the end of this event.
Absolutely. Well, if that's that for that, well, we're going to go and we're going to step over to another friend of the community. We're going to hang out with Ferran Heights, who's playing a seed tonight. Obviously want to send everybody off to do some big chillin' with the Free Enterprise. So, of course, on behalf again of Harumph and Awakened Smoke, sorry we did not have the time to shout you out during that intense race. My wonderful co-commentator, as always, Rex Rule, a pleasure. I'm Demarine2, saying goodnight, and we'll see you tomorrow.